Hey, dreamers, welcome back to your Dream Coach podcast. I'm Shayla Wey. I'm a small business coach, growth strategist, and believer that your dream life starts the moment you lead like you mean it. This podcast is all about leadership, fulfillment, and growth. Because I have found that those three pillars are the key to building a business and a life that actually feel aligned, not just successful. Today, I want to talk about something that's been coming up a lot lately with clients, with friends, even myself. And it's this idea of chasing more. More clients, more followers, more sales, more goals. But here's what I found is chasing more doesn't always lead to better. In fact, it often leads to burnout, frustration, and disconnection from what really matters. What if instead of chasing more, we focused on building better? Better systems, better habits, better relationships, and better energy. That's what creates sustainable success. So, in this episode, I'm going to unpack what building better really means, why it matters, and how it ties directly into your leadership, fulfillment, and growth. And before we dive in, don't forget to join the LFG Business Academy on School for free. Inside, you will find my mini leadership series, a powerful way to strengthen your mindset, leadership, and systems so that you can grow without losing yourself in the process. So let's get into it. The first thing is more isn't always better. And here's what I found is that in our culture, we celebrate more, right? We celebrate more revenue, more clients, more hustle. But the truth is that what I've really learned in my decades of working with lots of high-level leaders is that more isn't always better. If your foundation isn't solid, then adding more just adds chaos. Better means depth. It means efficiency. It means sustainability. It's really the key difference between a business that looks good on the outside and one that feels good on the inside. The leaders who last don't chase volume. They chase quality. The second point is growth without intention creates overwhelm. It's easy to say yes to everything in the name of growth, but I've learned that not every opportunity is the right opportunity. And when you grow without clarity, you outpace your capacity, and that's when overwhelm hits. And I've worked with many clients where this has happened, and this is positive when you're in it in a lot of ways. So as a leader, as a business owner, you're excited that there's growth happening, revenue is coming in. But as a business coach, when I see this happen, it worries me because what ends up happening is the business is growing faster than the team and the leaders can actually handle it. And so we really want to make sure that systems are in place so that our business isn't outgrowing us, because then that can lead to overwhelm, it can lead to disappointment, and it can oftentimes be pretty detrimental to a business. And so we really want to make sure in leadership, we pause and we ask ourselves, does this align with where I'm going? And does this fit the business and the life I'm building? So when I see this happen in business, that's one of the first things that we'll do is we'll pause and we'll take a step back and say, this is an exciting place to be 100%. But what do we have to do to put systems in place? What type of people do we have to bring on so that we can grow and scale this in a way that's sustainable, that we can build a very strong business? And intentional growth feels sometimes slower sometimes, but it's the kind of growth that lasts. And when I'm working with businesses, my goal is that not only do we help them grow, but we help them grow to a way that is sustainable, that feels good on the inside, inside the business and outside of the business as well. The third thing is your energy is a better metric than your revenue. And here is something that I found after coaching hundreds of entrepreneurs is if your energy is constantly depleted, it really doesn't matter how much money you're making because it won't feel like success. Energy is your real currency. So the better that you protect, renew, and manage it, the more effective and fulfilled you will become. Because when you're energized, you lead better, you think clearer, and you create with more impact. So fulfillment is not about how much you do, it's about how you feel while doing it. Now, this is not to say that, we don't want to look at facts and numbers and look at the business and ways to grow it 100%. That's our, still our key focus point. But I've just really had this opportunity to work with a lot of people that are in this burnout place. They're not happy in their relationships. They're not showing up for their kids. They're depleted. They're not doing the things that fill their cup. And everyone can have their own thoughts and opinions on this. But for me personally, is when energy is in a good space, when I see this in my clients, their business does grow a lot faster. So how do we just really recognize that? And what do we have to change so that we have that fulfillment and that we can do both, right? I'm a big believer in the power of and, is that we don't have to sacrifice everything in our personal life to run a business and vice versa. So how do we get to a place where we have that fulfillment, but we are doing it in a way where the energy is in a really positive place of abundance, where we can grow the business in alignment with who we are? The fourth thing is that systems create freedom, not limitation. I've spoke about this on other podcast episodes where sometimes we can feel this misconception that if we have everything systemized and it limits us from that freedom. And it's really the opposite. Is a lot of people can resist systems because they do think it kills that creativity. But what I've learned is that it's the opposite, is that systems create space. And when you have systems in place, whether it's for marketing, for sales, communication, delivery, you free up energy for your vision, creativity, and leadership. So better systems mean less chaos. It does create more consistency and way more peace of mind, because that's where your growth is really going to accelerate. So the way that I challenge leaders to think of this is that if you were to step out of your business for a day, a week, or a month, would the business be able to maintain its level of success without you? And that doesn't mean that we want to look at this in a negative space, but this is empowering to think, what is it that you're doing that could be delegated? And what is it that you're doing that we need to systemize so that if somebody else stepped in for the day, they would have an SOP, right? A standard of procedure that they could follow to say, okay, this is what this leader is doing throughout the day. That's duplicatable, especially if you're in the type of business that you want to scale. I learned early in my years of entrepreneurship that if it's not duplicatable, it's really hard to scale. We can get somewhat far with just our personality and our character alone. But when we really look at the systems, is our businesses are going to rise and fall to level of our systems. So everything really does need to be created in some sort of a standard of procedure so that we can systemize and scale that. The fifth thing that I learned is that focus beats frenzy. When you stop chasing more, you start focusing better, and focus creates progress. So I've worked with so many small business owners who are juggling 10 things halfway instead of doing 3 things really, really well. And what I found is that clarity and focus always outperforms scattered effort. So when you know your priorities, you can say no with confidence, and every yes becomes more powerful. And this can go back to other episodes where I've talked about your key pillars, your values, your mission, is that the more intentional, the more aligned we are with who we are in our business, where we want to go with the business, what systems we have in place, is that these decisions allow us to be more confident with, yes, this is in alignment with the goals I have right now, or no, this isn't. And when we simplify our priorities, we will grow faster because we're not trying to do everything and we don't get lost in the process. The sixth thing is that depth builds trust. In business, depth beats width every time. So instead of chasing more followers perhaps or more leads, what if you deepened your relationships with the ones you already have? Now, again, this is business dependent. Some businesses are very focused on followers and leads, others are more on clients. And again, it's situational. But the point here is that how do we just make a little bit more intention to go deeper with the clients we already have? Because what I found is that when you serve people deeply, when you really listen, you deliver results, and you truly care, they become your biggest advocates. And that's how you build a brand that grows through loyalty and not just marketing. So when we think about depth and we think about depth creating impact, impact then creates some really, really solid momentum. The seventh point is fulfillment comes from alignment, not achievement. And this is a big one. I've seen entrepreneurs achieve everything they set out to and still feel empty. I've been there. I've been there where I'm crushing it on paper. Everything on my social media looks like it's fulfilling, but I felt empty. And this is one of the big reasons why my core pillars, leadership, fulfillment, and growth came about, because fulfillment is so key, I believe, in success. Because fulfillment doesn't just come from hitting goals. It comes from building a life and a business that reflect your values. So when I started aligning my goals with how I wanted to feel, not just what I wanted to earn, everything changed. And that's why, again, fulfillment is such a big key pillar of LFG. It's the foundation, I believe, of really sustainable growth. And when we're focusing on why our business is designed to grow, to help us live the life of our dreams, this is an exciting pillar that I love focusing on with clients. The eighth thing is leadership means letting go. To build better, we do have to let go of control. So when you try to do everything yourself, you cap your growth and you can exhaust yourself in the process. And I've learned that leadership isn't about doing more. It's about empowering others to do more with you. So that means trusting your team, delegating effectively, and creating space for others to lead. And that's how you scale without losing yourself. And this is powerful. I see this happen in lots of businesses where people are a little hesitant to invest in more of a team player or really have someone level up or promote them. And every single time I've seen leaders let go a little bit and invest in their people and delegate, the business grows because people love feeling part of a team. People love feeling the ability to contribute and be creative. And so if we can do this in a way where we're not micromanaging and we're tying people into the overall vision and mission, it can be really, really exciting to see where the team can grow. And number 9 is simplicity is a growth strategy. So every business I've coached that's gone from stuck to thriving did one thing first: simplified. They stripped away the noise, clarified maybe their offers or their certain products, and really created simple, repeatable systems. And what I've learned is that simplicity doesn't mean small, it means clear. And clarity creates confidence. So when you know exactly what matters, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't. And simplicity gives your business space to breathe and you space to live. The 10th point here is better is built from the inside out. I want to just reiterate that one more time: is better is built from the inside out. Here's what I've realized after years of coaching leaders and building my own businesses: is better isn't a new strategy. It's a new standard. When you do the inner work, mindset, boundaries, leadership, you naturally build a business that reflects that. Because your business will only ever be as strong as the person leading it. And that's why leadership, fulfillment, and growth aren't just words. They're the foundation of building better. So building better starts with you. And here's what I want to leave you with today: stop chasing more. Start focusing on building better. More doesn't guarantee happiness, and more doesn't guarantee success. But better alignment, better systems, better energy creates growth that lasts. Because at the end of the day, your business should support your life, not steal it. It should give you time, not take it away. And it should grow you, not at the expense of you, right? It should grow with you. And if you're in a season where you feel like you're chasing, just take a second to pause and ask yourself, what if I focused on building better instead of doing more? What would my business and my life look like if I started there? And that's where your next level begins. So if this episode resonated with you, I'd love to invite you to join the LFG Business Academy on School. It's completely free, and it's where I share tools and resources to help you lead stronger, grow smarter, and build with fulfillment. You also get access to my mini leadership series, a free video training that dives deeper into how to lead like a CEO and grow without burnout. So you can click in the show notes to join us. I'd love to see you there. Thanks so much for tuning in today, dreamers. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend or a teammate who's already ready to build better and not just chase more. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps more dreamers like you find this podcast. And always remember, because your dream life starts with the way you lead, the way you live, and the way you grow. I'll see you next time on your Dream Coach podcast.